Welcome back to the channel, guys. And today I'm hoping to share a little information with you. Most of you probably already know it, but as of January, as a new owner of a Tri-5 wagon, I did not. And so I made a mistake that wasn't much of a mistake, but I just didn't know all the facts. So let me tell you, give you a little lesson in stationary window gaskets. That's next here in the Shade Tree Garage. All right, guys. Now, when I purchased my 55 two-door wagon in January 2025, the rear curved glass were in place. However, the side windows were missing. Both of them were, and as well as the passenger side window was gone. And let me tell you, it was a very breezy ride driving it home 25 miles at 34 degrees outside temperature with missing 3 windows. But I was bundled up. I knew what to expect. Now I purchased one of the first things I did was buy the glass I needed. I bought new stationary glass for the side and for both doors. The green tinted glass was my choice because it matched everything else, including the windshield. Now, sometimes vendors' listings for the rubber gaskets will refer to this window as the quarter window. Now, I'd also seen references elsewhere on the internet as these being stationary quarter windows. Obviously, they both can't be quarter windows, right? So I've ordered the gaskets for the quarter windows. And what I got were the rubber gaskets for this window, not this window. However, it was kind of a happy mistake because it really didn't matter. Now this window is larger, so I had about 13 inches extra gasket material when I tried to put the gaskets on these stationary glasses, on the stationary side glass. Now, I couldn't figure out why I had extra. Now, of course, I guess I just didn't look up and look at these quarter windows to see, oh, that's where it goes. So anyway, but I fixed it. The problem really wasn't a problem because these had the same dimensions. So it fit here, and then all I had to do, the front edge of this window glass is curved. So it was not a problem just to run that gasket all the way around it. Now I sectioned it in the middle, and I cut about 13 inches of the rubber gasket out, and then I put it back together with urethane windshield cement, and that worked really, really well. It's not a problem to get these windows in after that. Now, the one thing I would do differently, a hint, is I would put a dab of urethane window cement in spots all the way around that inside in that gasket, because once you put it on, it would keep it tight against the glass. Now, the problem I had, this window was both these side windows were a tight fit, and without the gasket being secured to the glass, in various spots, the gasket would want to roll under as I pushed the glass into the opening. And that became quite a problem because I wanted the gasket to go with the glass, not roll underneath it. But I got it. I figured that out. That wasn't that difficult a problem. But if I had the forethought to put a little dab of that urethane cement all the way around the perimeter of the glass, and it would have probably made it a little easier to get it in. Now I have found. I think it's Don's Restoration Parts. Now, on their listing for gaskets, and I would just check this out, they have listings for and it says in the listing, curved quarter window gaskets. All right, and so they're like $129 for that. They also have listings for stationary side glass, And those gaskets are a little bit cheaper because it's less material. But when I was looking for these gaskets, I assumed that stationary quarter window glass that this was this. Now the gasket fit and it's done a fine job. And I'm not about to pull these out to replace them to get the correct gasket because I made it work. Just not all vendors have their listings so exact is what I found. And now I can't really completely blame all the vendors, but I will tell because the problem with being a Tri-5 owner is that you have to have a certain body of knowledge to know what you're supposed to buy. And I might have been, admittedly, may have been lacking in that. I was just trying to get these windows in. I was fighting the clock. I wanted to try to get this thing inspected by the local sheriff's office by the end of January. And so I had 30 days to try, roughly 30 days, to try to get passenger window glass in, and these, and as well as tail lights, license plate lights, blah blah blah. So anyway, when you go shopping for gaskets, either for your doors or your openings or glass, uh, take extra care that you make sure you get the right thing, and don't do what I did. I spent a little extra money and got this gasket that I didn't need, that fit this okay, but I had to modify it. So anyway, just live and learn, and you know, and I will tell you some of the best information you'll find is some of the Tri-5 message boards. You can get just that there are people that know so much about Tri-5s and can give you lots of advice. So don't be afraid to register. Get some good answers. Now, the interesting thing is probably 10, well, almost 15 years ago, when I still had my 55 two-door hardtop, I was considering getting an aftermarket, either a CPP or uh, another brand of steering column replacement. And I was trying to decide, and I could tell that because they all have tilt, there wouldn't be the same room to put my tachometer. I had an old Sun Pro tachometer, and of course the original steering column had a gob of room to strap that tachometer. The replacement column, not so much. And so I had a query that I posted in 2012 about locations for the tachometer, that would work besides the steering column, because I didn't think I would be able to keep it there. So, I just was looking for other options, other thoughts, and I got a good. And I posted that query, and I never went back. Not long before that, I ended up. I had a purchase to buy it, and I let it go, which I regret, of course. But anyway, I found that same post because I had the same question again, because this one has a CPP column, and I was looking for alternative locations for the tachometer. Now, I will tell you uh, that to me, and I'm old school, I agree, because I'm old, tachometer belongs on the steering column. And you've heard me say that before. Um, but, and the interesting thing is, that's where my tachometer is now. I just had to make a mount that would fit the steering column. There's about an inch and a half of room of round steering column at the end of the fairing for the tilt mechanism. And so I had to make a column that would fit that, and it works. It works great. Works great. So if you get an aftermarket column and you've got at least an inch worth of room of nice round steering column, don't be afraid to fabricate your own mount and keep that tachometer where it should be on the steering column. Unless you have a gasser or a former race car, and I would keep it on the dash if it's there, or maybe it's out on the cowl. Who knows? Anyway, that's enough about the glass. I'm tickled to death with the gasket that for this. I actually did a great job on this, and I can't complain. Anyway, patronize our Tri-5 parts vendors. And sometimes I know that parts are out of stock, and that's an aggravation when you're in a hurry, when you want to get something done and you want it now. But, you know, don't be afraid to shop around. I had, I was looking for some door parts, and I ordered them from a vendor that I'd used before, and they were out of stock. And so I ended up finding them on eBay from another vendor. So I purchased them there and canceled my other order. So don't be afraid to shop around. You can sometimes find what you're looking for. You might have to pay a little more, maybe pay a little less. But that's kind of the name of the game. All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of the Shade Tree Garage. I've got to head back out on the road this week. For how long, I don't know, but I'll be on the road covering a murder trial elsewhere here in Kentucky. Maybe I'll tell you about it sometime, but it's not related to Tri-5s, unfortunately. All right, guys, have a great week. It's beautiful weather here this Sunday afternoon, and think about me on the road this week. All right, we'll see you next time, and thanks for stopping by the Shade Tree Garage.